Before we get started, just a quick reminder, Sane Enough is for informational and entertainment purposes only. It is not a substitute for professional medical advice, diagnosis, or treatment. Please consult with a qualified healthcare provider for any health concerns. Thank you for listening. Please like, subscribe, give a thumbs up, and share Sane Enough across all platforms. You need to focus. I'm Coach Eric. This is Sane Enough, and you can't actually multitask. I know you pride yourself on it. You've heard about it as a critical skill your whole life, but what you really need to do is focus. Don't take my word for it. There are lots of great studies out there, lots of great articles out there. There was a journal article from a few years ago that I read called Unraveling the Link Between Media Multitasking and Attention Across 3 Samples. Now, I found it on the National Library of Medicine's website, but you could check it out where it was initially published on Technology, Mind, and Behavior, which is an open access, interdisciplinary, peer-reviewed journal that publishes original work in the area of human-technology interaction with a focus on human behavior at the individual and group level. Woo, that was a mouthful. What that means is they're experts and they're peer reviewed, which means other experts read the stuff before it is approved for publish. So it is generally considered accurate. Nothing is flawless, but what the article tells you, what the down and dirty is that while people believe they can multitask, research shows that it's not truly possible. What we perceive as multitasking is really rapid task switching. If that sounds like a mouthful, let me break it down for you. This is where the brain quickly alternates between different tasks. So it's not doing task A and task B at the same time. It's doing task A, then task B, then task A, then task B, then task C, then task A, then C, then B, then. And look at that. Even just saying it, I got the bubbles and the jumbles, right? The constant switching comes with a cognitive cost. It leads to decreased efficiency, increased errors, and reduced comprehension. Whoo, Coach Eric, why are you ranting today? Why not? We've had some productive episodes, we've had some rant episodes, and boy, let me tell you, today's a rant. Here's why. We have limited cognitive resources. Our brains only have so much capacity for attention. And as such, it can only process so much information. So when we try to focus on multiple tasks simultaneously, we take those resources and we split them up. Now, that can be good if each resource only needs a little bit and you've got capacity to handle it. But think about that. If you've reduced your resources available to any given task, then you've also reduced your potential performance on any given task. So every time you switch from one task to the other, your brain has to reorient, has to refocus. There's a switching cost, and that means delays. That means decreased efficiency, and all of that leads to decreased mental performance. Because when you try to juggle multiple tasks, when you have information from here and from there, it starts to interfere with one another. And when you've got information interfering with one another and you're delayed and you have reduced performance and you have reduced attention, you get more errors, more mistakes, more things you've got to go back and fix. And if you're trying to learn on the fly with this, you're going to get reduced comprehension. I get it. Multitasking. It's so critically important to today's style of life. And that's what it's important to. It's important to a style of life. It's not actually important to life. Because what happens when we start to reduce our performance? What happens when we start to reduce our cognitive ability? Well, we also reduce our creativity. We also reduce our deep thinking. it hinders your opportunity. It hinders your ability to really engage deep, focused thinking, which is essential for true creativity, and it is critical for problem solving. Think about this. If you don't truly dedicate yourself to the task at hand and you're working at reduced capacity for 3 or 4 different things at the same time, how can you fully be creative on any one of those tasks? How can you truly dedicate yourself to diving deep on any one of those tasks? How can you truly comprehend the nuances of any singular task? What you're basically saying when you are multitasking, you're doing half a dozen things at once, is I'm not going to give anything an A performance. In order to get all these things done at once, I'm happy with a C on all of them across the board. But hey, they're done. I multitasks. Way to go, me. So what do we do? Coach Eric, what do we do? You're telling me I've been told my whole life I need to multitask better. I've been told my whole life I need to work multiple things at a time so that I can be efficient. I've been told my whole life this is a critical skill. Well, let me tell you what the real critical skill is. It's monotasking. Uno. One. It's more effective. It allows you to concentrate. It allows you to have improved accuracy, increased productivity. If you're focusing on just one of those tasks, you can knock it out. Well, but I've got 16 things to do. Great. Time allocation. So, what do you got to do here? What do you have to do? Well, you have to focus on focusing. You have to improve the critical, the valuable, the truly meaningful skill of focusing. And there's a lot of ways to get there. Now, I already touched on one, and I think it's the most important. So we're going to kick it off with that, and then we'll get into some more creative ways to work on this. But the number one thing is scheduling. It's time management. It's commitment to the task at hand and going to get that task done, and then going to get the next task done, and then going to get the next task done in order. And if you have to stop task A and start task B, then you package up task A, you put that away, you give everything you've got to task B. Don't jump back to task A until you're done with task B. Schedule it out, set alarms, put them in your calendar. Be committed to getting your tasks done. And if you're doing them one at a time, you can truly give yourself to that task. So, some things you can do to help improve your approach when it comes to monotasking. Mindfulness and meditation. Hey, this comes up all the time on your show, Coach Eric. What are you, some kind of meditation freak? No, but would that be so bad? Meditation is taking time for yourself, taking time for your mental health. It's taking time to really work on isolating your processing capabilities from distractions. It's about staying present in the moment. So even a short daily session can make a huge difference. There's a million different meditation techniques out there, and we've talked about a lot of those. Find the one that works for you. We're not going to dive deep into that right now. Maybe we'll do that in another episode. But find one of the ones that works for you. Go back and listen to some of my other episodes where I touched on this. Find a meditation technique that works for you. Do it for a few minutes every day. Learn how to focus, how to clear your mind, and how to get control of yourself and isolate yourself from distractions. So what else can you do? Well, you can focus your attention on a specific task as a training exercise. So choose something, a feeling, sit there and just rub your hand with your one finger and just focus really hard on that. Feel the individual skin cells, feel the blemish, feel the little bitty hairs, feel the wrinkle of your knuckle, feel that one thing. Really focus in and feel that one thing. Look at a painting on the wall. Look at it. Not even a painting on the wall. I've got a spot on my wall where one of my teenage boys chipped the drywall. Now, if I sit here and I stare and I focus at that chip right now, here's what I can tell you. It's way more nuanced than I ever realized. I've walked past that 100 times, and it's on my to-do list, honey. I'll get to it. And I need to patch it. I need to paint it. And I can sit here and I can stare at it. And what I'm starting to realize is that it's not the same uniform depth. It's a little bit craggy. Some of the white drywall powder is a little darker than some of the other. There's still a little bit of paint. There's a piece of the paper from the drywall that's kind of hanging loose a little bit. This thing's not huge, but it's, maybe the size of an egg or a small baseball, probably where it happened. So if I can sit here and I can stare and I can really focus it, I can learn so much about this little white mark on my wall. And if I do that and I practice that, then when it's something meaningful, like the patch job I'm going to do and whether or not I smoothed it out properly and I sanded it, I'll be able to focus on that and give myself to that so that I get it right. Because I've practiced. Work on memory training. Play the game memory. Get out a deck of cards. Put 10 of them out in front of you. Memorize them. Flip them over. Shuffle them around. Flip them over one at a time and put them in the correct slot for where they were in the original order. Use your phone. There are a bunch of apps out there on the web and on your various Play stores that are specifically for memory training. Go down to the dollar store. Dollar General, Dollar Family, whatever. Go to their game section. They've got coloring books. They've got playing cards. And they'll usually have these oversized cards with pictures on them that are meant to play memory games with development age children. Well, memory is memory, whether you're 4 or 40. Buy 3 packs of them. Shuffle them all together. Start playing memory. Learn how to keep that information in your head. And you can practice multitasking more efficiently. Well, wait a minute, Coach Eric. Hypocrite. You told me monotask. Yeah, monotask. So integrate that. When you're not doing something critical, practice controlled, divided attention. So put on some music. Put on a podcast. I know a podcast. And listen to it. And get out something that you can read. And really focus on listening to my words as you listen to Sane Enough. And then completely block out my voice and read. And really, truly focus on reading. Give yourself 2 or 3 pages of really reading. I mentioned a journal entry earlier in this episode. Go get that, put it on your screen, put on this episode, start the episode over. And while I'm talking about the stuff you've already heard, really focus on reading that article. And then stop reading that article and really focus on listening to me. Because if you practice that, then your multitasking is actually going to become divided attention. But it's not going to be divided performance, because you'll give 100%, you'll monotask whatever's in front of you, package it up, put it away. Monotask whatever's in front of you, finish it up, wrap it up, put it away, and go back and monotask the other thing again. You won't be thinking about task B when you're doing task A. You'll be zoomed in on it. And so if you do those things, you start to control the environment around you where you do these things. I said put on a podcast, I said put on music, but sometimes it's just a matter of turning off the world around you and focusing on what you're doing. So if you really want to focus on reading that journal, because it's complicated and it's long, but it's great information, you can't be looking at your phone for every notification that pops up. Right now, Instagram might be exploding on your phone and you're trying to listen to me and you're trying to absorb what I'm telling you, but that notification dinged. I gotta look at it. But then you're not really hearing me anymore. So turn off the phone. Maybe not power it down, because you might be using that to actually listen to me. But turn off the notifications. Let the people around you know I need uninterrupted time to do this task. Close the door. Hang a sign on the doorknob that says, "Do not disturb," like you're in a hotel. Find a quiet place that's just yours. Separate yourself from the noise and let the noise know, I'm separating myself from you. Prioritize and plan. We touched on that at the very beginning. I'm going to touch on it again right now, because it's that important. And let's be honest, I'm probably going to touch on it again at the summary. Why? Because focusing requires your ability to schedule. It requires your ability to be committed to that schedule. So you need clear goals. You need a well-defined plan. You need to be committed to those goals and that plan so that you can stay focused on the important tasks. That doesn't mean you don't ever do the fun stuff that's not important, or the boring stuff that's not important. You do all the stuff, but you prioritize the important stuff so you can monotask that. And then if you've got to cash in a C performance so you can do 3 non-important things at the same time, okay, that's fine. You do you. But while we're talking about you, let's talk about the physical you. Let's talk about the physical part of you that's connected to the mental part of you. We talk about how critical it is to get sleep and rest. And I talk about how meditation is a key resting technique so you can recover and reset. Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Napping is good. Sleeping is better. Get to bed at night. Get a good night's sleep. And during the day, make sure you do something physical. Give yourself something to recover from. Get your body moving. Get your body feeling used. That way, when you sleep and you recover, you wake up and you've got energy. You're awake, you're recovered, you're ready to process. You focus even better when you've got more energy to focus with. Have you ever noticed how the more tired you are, the harder it is to dedicate whatever resources you have left on doing just one thing? You tend to just kind of fade out and stare off into space in the middle of doing that one thing. And then your brain starts to wander because you got all these voices and they're going, hey, remember that time? Remember that thing? Hey, did you lock the back slider? Did you check the laundry? Did you remember to pick your kid up from school? I hope that last one was a joke. But when you're tired, you tend to try to multitask because you don't have the gusto to really monotask. And if we're talking about energy, if we're talking about your body, what you eat matters. We all love, well, maybe not everybody. I'm not going to lump everybody into this category. I love to go grab a cup of coffee. I love coffee. And it's not just like that caffeine kick. I love the taste of coffee. I will admit, I am a black coffee, preferably a medium dark to dark, full city roast. Give me 2 cracks, baby. I love coffee. Good coffee. Love it. Right now I'm drinking a single origin from Mexico. Wasn't super expensive. Don't go thinking I'm sitting here on money bags in it and bragging about it, but it was just a unique coffee I hadn't tried before, and I gave it a go, and it's good. And it helps me relax. And when I have that cup of coffee, I feel good about myself and I relax and I can focus. But it's not the best thing I can do for my body. No, I've got these liquid, or these powder packs I put into liquid that are full of vitamins and are great for hydration and don't have a ton of sugar and don't have an excessive amount of salt because I'm not an athlete anymore. Those are better for me. I drink a ton of water. That keeps me hydrating. That's better for me, right? There are better things that I can consume. I love a cheeseburger, but sometimes you need a salad. I had a really, really nice dinner last night, and one of the key things was parsnips, which are just kind of like carrots, and mashed sweet potatoes. Now, that's not normally my bag, but it was really good. And sweet potatoes are one of the most nutritious things you can eat. And I feel great today having eaten better yesterday. I woke up feeling better today because I didn't eat half a pizza last night. I love half a pizza. Really love a whole pizza, but I can't do that anymore. Whew! That's bad for everybody. But you feel better when you eat better. So fuel your body, get your rest. And if you do, and you really, really focus on focusing and on monotasking, you're going to have a lot of benefits. You're going to have increased productivity. When you focus on one task at a time, you're a lot less likely to make mistakes. And you're going to finish that task faster than if you'd split your attention, which means now you're moving on to the next task, which you can focus on, get done faster. And the truth is, you're probably going to get the 3 tasks you had to do today done faster one at a time than trying to split your attention between them. And you're going to get them done better. The quality is going to be improved, even if it takes you the same amount of time, even if it takes you slightly longer. The big payoff here is it's better. The quality is better because you were truly, truly invested in it. And for me, I'm more satisfied then because I know I did a better job. When I give it my full attention, I'm going to feel like, man, I did something here. I'm going to be able to take that moment to appreciate that I did something because I'm not already thinking about Project B because that's not here yet. I am finishing Project A. And of course, the biggest one for me, the mountaintop, the rocks in your backpack. It's the stress. You have less stress when you monotask than when you keep switching your brain back and forth and wearing it out. So stop, focus, and you're going to feel better about it. You're going to feel better about it. But what if it's a huge task? What if it's just monumental? Yeah, sure, Coach Eric, smaller tasks. Yeah, we can do this. But what about multi-day tasks, multi-week tasks, multi-month tasks? Well, first of all, breathe. Take a moment to breathe. I know I need to. Take a break every now and then in this giant task. 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. Take a break. Let your body do a mini recharge. Meditate. Listen to music. Listen to me. I hope I relax you. Break down that large target, that huge task, into smaller projects, into smaller tasks, into manageable targets, into steps. So now, instead of one giant thing you have to do that's overwhelming, you've got 6 little things. And then you can monotask those little things, and it's going to help you get the whole thing done. And look, I understand. You, especially in a big project that you've broken down into chunks, You can't always get A completely done before you start B because part of B coordinates back to A. Let's not take this so literal. You do A to a logical stopping point, and then you stop. Then you do B to a logical stopping point, and then you stop. And you don't think about A while you're doing B. And if you've got to go to C next and then back to A, that's what you do. But you're monotasking just one segment of the project until you reach a logical stopping point. Not necessarily a logical finish. We're not talking about a conclusion. We're not talking about packaging it up and putting it away and never touching it again when I say package it up and put it away. What I'm saying is mentally, in your head, put it in a box so you can focus on something else. Consistency is the key here. Like anything else that we work on, you're going to get better at that if you practice it. You're going to get better at focusing if you take the time and give the consistent effort to focusing. Your mono is going to be better than your multi if you do more mono than you do multi. But if you just do mono on one task and then it takes longer than you expected and you decide I'm never doing that again, then you're not going to get good at it. And you have to remember that you're different than me. So what works particularly well for me may not work particularly well for you. But that doesn't mean there aren't a lot of ideas out there that we can't work together to find the right solution for you. And most importantly, when it comes to that, is remember that what works for you might not work for the guy next to you. Don't force your mono technique on them. Let them work out their own mono technique. But hey, you know what? Be that guiding hand. Help them understand that. Don't be overbearing. That's my job. But be supportive. And if you're really struggling with this skill, that's cool. No problem. It's hard. All these things are hard. Get some help. Find a practitioner who can coach you through this. Find a therapist or a medical professional who can help you through this. Because the truth of the matter is, society has brainwashed you into believing that you have to multitask everything. And that's a hard hold to break. It's a societal expectation. So maybe you can't do it alone. Nothing to be ashamed of there. We're out there. Look us up. Happy to help. Okay. All right. Back to breathing. The big thing here is that by combining your general focus enhanced strategies, by having a thoughtful approach to your calendar, by prioritizing your tasks, by breaking the big task down into smaller tasks, you can improve your focus. You can improve your monotasking. You can improve the quality of your work. And most importantly, you can improve the quality of your mental well-being because you're going to reduce the stress load and you're going to feel the rewards of the work you've done. So please, I know you want to multitask. And I know you're going to multitask. But work on focusing for me. Work on monotasking the important things in life. And practice it on some non-important things so that you get good at it. And what you're going to find is that your ability to multitask is going to drastically improve because what you're really doing is monotasking in sequence. And that is when you start reaching the multitask mastery levels because it's not multitasking, focusing. It's giving yourself to what's important to you. Okay, so now it's time to listen to some music. Today's song is called Turmoil. And while most of the songs that we've done on this show have been visualization exercises, that they've had either a positive vibe or they've been meant for a specific person's positive outlook, even if it had sort of a negative twist to it, because it was tongue-in-cheek and it was sarcastic and it was raging against the use of those terms as negative terms. Today, we're going to do something else. We've had a couple other ones like this where we're going to give voice to some of the struggle in your head. This song is called Turmoil. It's a little lower key. It's not exactly upbeat and chipper, but I think all of us struggle with this at some point in our lives, and we just need to know that everybody else has those moments too. So we put this song together to give voice to that part of your brain that keeps you up at night thinking about the negativity, and understand that you're not alone. We're all there with you. We're all fighting that same good fight. We're all negotiating with the voices in our head. In the end, it's a fight that we can win with just a little more practice. So I'm Coach Eric. This has been Sane Enough. Please share this with your friends, your family, your coworkers on message boards and Facebooks and social medias and all that other good stuff. Thumbs it up, like it, subscribe so you get the next one. It's coming quick. I really appreciate taking the time today to talk about focus. So let's just take a few minutes and focus on turmoil.
Echoes bounce in my head, whispers deep inside. A battlefield of thoughts, no place to hide. Questions clashing loud, voices never rest. Seeking clarity feels like an endless test. Mind runs like a river twisting through the dark. Conflicting answers bite, they leave a mark. Searching for the truth amidst the cries. Can it emerge where the turmoil lies? Inner voices scream, tear at my peace. Need some kind of rescue, some sweet release. Searching in the chaos, who am I? Fighting through the noise, I have to try. Dark corners of the brain where shadows creep. In the quiet moments where thoughts seep. Dripping like amber, they cover me. Lonely with my demons and the endless plea. Glimmers of hope, threadbare and thin. Where does the torment end and truth begin? In the noise and struggle, I find my way. Embracing imperfection welcomes a brighter day. Inner voices scream, tear at my peace. Need some kind of rescue, some sweet release. Searching in the chaos, who am I? Fighting through the noise, I have to try. I have to try.